Pam Howard, and as I stand here today, thinking back 1 year to when I stood here last year, I can tell you one thing for sure. Change is constant. And I believe that this is a group that would not have it any other way. It's exciting to me every year to gather in this room and be among a group of people who are the architects and agents of change. From our Montgomery County Commissioners who are laying out a vision for a more coordinated and accessible human services system, to leaders and staff of the provider and advocate community working hard every day to extend opportunities for change to the residents of our county, and individuals striving for the personal changes and that impact their recovery journey and the lives of their loved ones. It is clear that here in Montgomery County, we are infected with hope that inspires and changes and creates the momentum for the type of progress that we will be, the type of progress and partnerships across systems that we will be inspired further about today. Change has been all around us this year. We wished a heartfelt farewell to 3 long-term leaders of change, Nancy Weeman, Barb Derry, and Eric Goldstein. And we're honored to have Nancy and Eric join us here today. You guys could wave. They're in the audience. During this same year, regardless of the demands of existing work, each and every mental health provider developed a change team as part of Montgomery County's Trauma-Informed Care Initiative. They worked on assessing their organizations and have laid out goals toward the provision of a more trauma-informed system of care. And actually, the most recent Trauma Learning Collaborative allowed for the discovery that the change teams not only are composed of people who could lay out a vision for change, but also folks who can roll up their sleeves and get the work done. Most importantly, the reason we gather today is about the people for whom we serve. People for whom change is beyond challenging, and for some days it's just about surviving. All of us have been blessed to witness remarkable resilience in people whose journeys have intersected ours, and it is for them and in honor of them that we celebrate today the hard work, the hope, and the potential for progress that our system holds. Thank you all so much for being here and for all of your hard work over this past year. We are indeed honored today to celebrate with us our Montgomery County Commissioners, Chairman Josh Shapiro and Vice Chair Dr. Valerie Arkush, and I'm very pleased to welcome Chairman Josh Shapiro. Oh, are you going first? I'm so sorry. Let me go back. I am very pleased to welcome Vice Chair Valerie Arkush.
That was our fault. We pulled a fast one. Thank you, Pam. Well, welcome, everyone. It's an honor to be here today. This is actually my first time at this wonderful celebration, and thank you so much for being here. It's great to see so many different groups together in this room. Providers, families, recipients of services. It's terrific that everyone is here together. My background is that of a physician. I practiced medicine for over 20 years in Philadelphia, and the importance of the services that you provide, and most importantly, the integration of those services is fundamental to that hope that everyone who is affected by mental illness strives for in order to make sure that they have a firm and solid recovery. About 3 years ago, when Chairman Shapiro and then Commissioner Leslie Richards were elected to the Board of Commissioners, they formed a number of transition committees, and I was very honored to co-chair the Health and Human Services Transition Committee. And we talked back then about the idea of no wrong door for human services here in the county. And I've been so pleased to return 3 years later and see that concept realized in a number of different ways. Some of you may be familiar with our Community Connections offices, which are now open around the county. And this is a one-stop shop for all of our human services that we have available in the county. Everything from veterans benefits to help with housing, job training, as well as access to food and health services. And I love to see that this concept is working its way into the behavioral health services here in the county as well. We need to make sure that these services are integrated not only into primary care offices, for instance, but that all facets of that support and very critical access is available to everyone across the county. So thank you so much for all of you being here today. It's these coming together from people from so many different constituencies that actually makes this work. And kudos to you. And with that, I'd like to introduce our chairman, Josh Shapiro.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is good to be back with you, and Val, thank you for your comments and your kind words. I think you would all agree, having a physician with Val's background, not just in the labor and delivery rooms in the hospitals, but also in the classroom and in the centers of advocacy across our country, really helps elevate the role, really helps elevate the work that you do and helps elevate the importance of human services in our county government. And I've been really pleased to serve alongside of her for the last 3 or 4 months, and I know that all of you will have the benefit of her expertise as well. It is a special opportunity for me to be back here with you today. I look forward to this event. Not just to recognize the award recipients, Stephanie and Jessica and Robert and Christine and Brian and Emily and Derek and the Coordinated Homeless Outreach Center and the Hope Market Community Trading Post and whoever to be revealed is. I look forward to that person and Berta and others. It is a neat opportunity to see all of the different people coming together. Those who receive services, those who deliver services, the unbelievably dedicated team that we have in our human services departments, and to see everybody coming together is really special. And that's really what we've tried to do as we reformed our county government over our 3+ years in office together. The opportunity to not just elevate human services and make sure that the work that is being done in our human services realm in our behavioral health office is something that is funded, and today we're funding it at a higher level than ever before. But to make sure that the coordinated effort is something that is baked into our system, something that everyone understands that you have to work together in order to meet the needs of our constituents and the people that you serve. And that at any given time, one organization may be called upon to do work, one department may be asked to provide help, but ultimately we are all in this together in order to meet the needs of the people that we serve. We take that very seriously. It's one of the reasons why we are undergoing, I think, the broadest, most expansive, most interesting realignment and review of human services in the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And when we come through this, we will be lined up in a way that puts the individual first, that puts our constituent first, that ensures that no matter what that constituent presents themselves with, whatever the challenges are, that we are in a position to best deal with them. And no longer will a government be siloed or stovepiped in a way where the right hand isn't talking to the left hand and isn't coordinating with them, but rather we are all together. We are focused on the end user, our constituent, not how an office is structured or not how a department is set up. And I think that's really different for government. Now, those of you who are involved in business, you think to yourself, well, this just makes sense. This is good common sense. This is the way it ought to be. Well, too oftentimes government is wired in a different way. It's wired in a very inefficient, ineffective way. Here in Montgomery County, because of the dedicated personnel that we have, the great staff that we have, whether it's our interim administrator, Penny or Pam or Vera or others, we have a team that is so dedicated to this cause and so dedicated to the people that we serve that taking on an immense task like this of reviewing how our structure is and how we're set up and how we're wired to operate is something that they're not fearful of, but they've embraced and they've been a part of making sure can ultimately produce really good results for the people we serve. Because we know that when people show up at our front door, whether they're coming through the door with Mike Gordon at adult probation, whether they're coming through the doors of the Human Services Center just looking for help, whether they're coming through the doors of a caring parent or a loved one or a friend who says this individual needs help. I think we can all agree that folks don't show up with one need or one concern. Ultimately, it's a multidisciplinary approach that is needed to help. And that's what we're trying to set ourselves up for in Montgomery County to be able to do. I am immensely proud of our team in the county that has taken on this challenge and has met it in a way that demonstrates to me that we are going to be set up in a way that can help for generations to come here in Montgomery County. And the way we do that best is when we have strong partners out in the community, partners like all of you who are here today, because we can't do it alone. We have to work together with you, and I am confident that as we go through this process, you will be uplifted, our personnel will be uplifted, but most importantly, the spirits and the well-being of the individuals that we all collectively serve will be uplifted. And that's the name of the game, and that's why we're all in this business and why we're all in it together. So thank you for having Val and myself this morning. We are committed to you, we're committed to this cause, and we look forward to continuing to work with you every step of the way. Okay? Thanks, Pam.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Vice Chair. It is really nice to have you with us here today to help support our efforts. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, who will address today's theme, Partners for Progress Across Systems. Dr. Matthew Herford is Vice President of Medical Affairs for Community Care Behavioral Health Organization, the country's largest not-for-profit behavioral health managed care organization. As VP of Medical Affairs at Community Care, Dr. Herford provides leadership in the development of new business opportunities and new program development, including the integration of physical health and behavioral health and innovative healthcare payment models. Prior to joining Community Care, Dr. Herford served as Chief Medical Officer in the City of Philadelphia's Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disabilities and Community Behavioral Health, CBH. Dr. Herford is a graduate of Swarthmore College and received his medical degree from Temple University School of Medicine. He completed his internship and residency in psychiatry at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, where he was named chief resident. He is currently a clinical associate at the University of Pennsylvania's Department of Psychiatry Center for Mental Health Policy and Services Research. His research interests focus on the interface of physical and mental illness, as well as the implementation of evidence-based practices. Please join me in welcoming today Dr. Matthew Herford.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much, Pam, for that kind introduction. It is really an honor to be invited to join you all today for this really wonderful celebration, the 38th celebration, which in itself is a wonderful accomplishment and a tribute to the great work that you all do and that Montgomery County has committed to in the field of behavioral health and human services. Montgomery County is recognized really across the state as a leader in recovery-oriented systems of care. And all of you deserve credit for that, and the leadership here, and Pam, and Leanne, Nancy, and others. And so it really is a great privilege for me to be here and joining with you all for this great celebration. When I was asked to speak, I was told that the keynote was only 15 minutes long. And I thought to myself, wow, that's my kind of keynote to listen to. It turns out it's actually a lot easier to listen to a 15-minute keynote than it is to prepare one. But that's only because what we're here to celebrate is so incredibly important. Nonetheless, I think the time limit is a great idea. And honestly, if you can't say something worthwhile in 15 minutes, don't torture everyone for another 45. Besides, it gives me a great opportunity to practice the 10 principles of the perfect keynote. Be brief. Be brief. Be brief. I'll stop there, for the sake of brevity. So, The theme today is Partnership for Progress. And I got to tell you, I love this theme. I think it encapsulates so much, and I love it because it is both a means as well as an end. It captures really the essence, I think, of our way forward. We need to move forward in a way that, in fact, ensures that the changes in the healthcare landscape, and there are many happening now and many, many more to come, are implemented in a way that is consistent with our values and our principles of a recovery, resilience, and self-determined oriented system of care. And how are we going to do that? Well, I think that's where the partnerships come in. And it's so timely because the themes of integration and collaboration are emerging everywhere. And what is integration and collaboration other than, if not vital ingredients to an effective partnership? So we know what progress looks like, we know what the way forward looks like, and we know how we need to do it. We need to do it together through these partnerships. And suddenly, whenever we come to meetings and have stakeholders come together, everybody is talking now about silo busting and breaking down walls. So that begs the question, if we are all in agreement that we need to work together in partnership and in collaboration and that integration is the way forward, how did we get so good at building all of these silos? Right? If integration is a worthy goal and where we think we need to move towards, why did we put up so many of these walls? So among other things, I'm a psychiatrist. So of course, I think that anxiety plays a role here. I believe that all of us who've entered human services have done so with the very best hearts and the very best intentions. That we came into this field because we truly wanted to help people and to do what's right. We want to alleviate suffering. We want to see people participate in the community. We want to see people have meaningful relationships. But there's a lot involved in those things. Right? Graduating high school, having a safe place to sleep at night, having access to good quality health care, staying out of jail or other institutions, having fulfilling and meaningful interpersonal relationships, working a job of one's choice. It could be, at times, a little overwhelming, maybe even anxiety-provoking, to think as a provider or a family member or a peer or a teacher working with someone that all of that is your responsibility. I know personally, I've felt that sense of overwhelming anxiety or even helplessness. Working with somebody with so many complex and complicated medical, behavioral health, and social challenges, and thinking to myself, how can I help support real change in this person's life in the 15 minutes or 30 minutes that we have together once a month? Or when I used to work in a psychiatric crisis, thinking at 3:30 in the morning, how can I help this person in their journey of recovery when they don't have a safe place to sleep tonight? Or when he or she is not able to identify a single family member or support person that we can call right now? That can be truly an overwhelming feeling. And I think that as a system, historically, our response to that has been to try and break things up into these manageable portions, these little corners of the world, these little bits of service or level of care or treatment facilities or even age groups, to make it feel like it's more manageable to us. That maybe I can't take on or help support achievement of all of those goals, but I can do this one thing. I can prescribe medication, or I can help get somebody connected to work, or I can help them with their educational goals. And in doing so, we start building silos and erecting walls and narrowing our scopes of responsibility as a system so that it becomes less around the individual and what his or her goals are, and much more about what work we do, or what services we deliver, or what we pay for, or when we can intervene and when we can't. So it's my belief that in doing all of that, however, that we only create the illusion of control and efficiency. I think we sacrifice so much more when we carve up the world artificially like that and lose sight of the whole person. In the end of the day, when you have a system like that, where you're focusing on your one little part and then passing it along, it starts to feel an awful lot like an assembly line. And assembly lines are great for making lots and lots of the exact same thing. But we're here to help people, individuals, lead full and self-determined lives. We're not churning out SUVs. So no, I think that we are much more like, or at least should aspire to be, much more like a coral reef than an assembly line. So, full apologies to all of the marine biologists in here, out there. I am not a marine biologist. I love to snorkel, I love to scuba dive. I am probably what you could call an armchair marine biology enthusiast, if such a thing exists, which really just means I love to swim around and look at beautiful fish and coral. But what little I do know about coral reefs and how they're formed and how they thrive, I think is incredibly informative as we think about the work that we do and the communities that we help to support. You know, coral reefs start with just a single organism, almost microscopic, a little coral polyp or larvae that just happens to land on a shell or a piece of rock, and then another, and then another, and another. And over hundreds of years, thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, more and more grows. And then other organisms join. And so you end up with this incredible ecosystem with literally millions of organisms all living together, symbiotically, helping each other, but each with its own individuality. So it doesn't matter if you're on the coral reef, whether you're an octopus or a fan coral or clownfish. I have 3 kids under 10, so I got to do a shout out to Nemo. Yeah. Each organism has a place to live and to thrive on this coral reef. And each has a role to play, a way to contribute. To me, that sounds an awful lot like recovery principles around inclusion and power. On their own, any one of these organisms would wither and die if you built a silo around it, if you put one in a fishbowl. But together, they thrive and flourish. It doesn't happen naturally and just automatically. You have to have the right conditions. Water temperature has to be right. Salinity in the ocean has to be right. Can't have a lot of pollution. The organisms have to have a will to survive. There has to be a kind of respect and acceptance. A healthy reef is a really crowded place, but there's room for all. In fact, the more the merrier. And organisms use what's around them so that old shells, rocks, even sunken ships don't represent obstacles or barriers. In fact, they become opportunities for new life to flourish. So as we go about in this spirit of partnerships for progress, busting silos and tearing down walls, let's think about what we truly want to build in their place. Because after all, what is a reef if not a wall repurposed into a living, breathing community? We need to think of ourselves as one system, or even better, as one ecosystem. One ecosystem that supports people, not a system that works just with transitional aged youth, or one system over here that works just with older adults, or one system over there that only treats people with a substance use disorder. How often do people actually only fit into just one of those categories? We need one ecosystem in which people receive the services and supports they need, where providers partner with families, educators, and community members, an ecosystem in which policymakers and payers make it easier, not harder, to do the right thing, and certainly not with more paperwork. An ecosystem in which people can celebrate both their individuality and their contribution to this great, rambling, colorful reef of ours. You all are living this. You are the living reef. And it's amazing to see how these reefs are flourishing all over, but we're not done yet. And with this rapidly changing landscape, there are going to be tremendous decisions that are going to make that have huge impacts on the services you deliver, on the family members you care about, on the schools your children attend, and on the possibility and hope that people will have for recovery. And if we aren't partnering together and advocating for what we know to be the right way in which people should be supported, in not just in treatment, but in their community, then this reef is going to grow without us and without our input. And I think that that would be a real loss for the community and for the people that we serve. So what does partnering actually look like? Well, in my mind, it looks like growing together rather than apart. It means looking upstream and downstream at illness, from health promotion through prevention, high-quality treatment, through the whole continuum of recovery. It looks like aligning payment reform to promote meaningful treatment outcomes, not just more and more treatment. It means that all stakeholders have a voice in recovery and life planning, with the individual and his or her family in the lead. And above all else, it means we never settle or compromise for anything less than parity in services, equality in the community, and hope for all. I want to send my congratulations to all of our awardees today. You are modeling the way for the rest of us. And I want to thank all of you for adding life, color, and vibrancy to this community reef of ours. Thank you.
That was such a I have such a lovely picture in my head now but thinking about us as an ecosystem is just so interesting, and looking out at all the different people here that have so many things to offer and so many things to help provide as we do grow together and work across systems. I think that was very inspiring. Thank you so much. It is really exciting to be here and to honor the folks today with our awards. And I'd like to introduce Tim Connors from Magellan of PA, and he's going to help to introduce the award winners today. Go ahead, clap. It's Tim. We do have a request that, just to help with the flow, that if people could just save their applause while Tim's reading, so after the award winner heads back to their seats. That would be fabulous. Thank you so much.
I did want to take a moment and go a little far afield. The magnet that'll stick to your refrigerator has a picture on there that was the winner for the art contest for CSP. And I just wanted to recognize Eric Ayers, the winning artist who did that. Eric, you could just stand up. Thank you. So I'm going to get through the suspense of who won what. If you take your awards pamphlet and you look at the back of it, those are the winners. Congratulations. So the basic flow of this is going to be, I'll say someone's name, I'll read a couple of paragraphs about that person, and then we're going to recognize our appreciation of their contribution through applause and clapping and whatever kind of moves you. So that's kind of the plan. The reason we ask to do this way is I timed it out when if I read from beginning to end without breaking, it takes me about 12 to 14 minutes to get through the material. So if I read and then we stop and we applaud and then I read some more, it starts to stretch out a lot. So that's why we wanted to focus on if you could just hold your applause until after I read the paragraphs while the person's kind of coming up to get her own award and get a picture with Pam Howard. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. So without any ado, I know I'm getting old, but Okay. So this 2015 Recovery and Resiliency Award goes to Christine Perrone. Christine is a caring and determined person who is incredibly, and also when we call your name, if you could walk up to the front, that would be a good thing. I know I forgot something. So Christine is a caring and determined person who has worked incredibly hard to create a life for herself that is full and meaningful. Christine exemplifies recovery and resiliency through her perseverance, dedication to her family, the deep personal satisfaction she finds in working, and the warmth and encouragement she offers regularly to peers in need of support. Although her own pathway has not been easy, Christine used these challenges to strengthen her own dedication to relationships, both with her children and in the family and friends she has built around her home. Now adults, Christine's children are a source of pride and a testament to the work she put into providing for her family to the best of her ability. With 2 children in college and another a high school honors student, Christine has much to be proud of. Christine's strength in the face of adversity and the satisfaction she finds in offering empathy and compassion to those who are facing their own obstacles make Christine an ideal recipient of the Recovery and Resiliency Award. And if we could give Christine a round of applause. Thank you. So next up is this 2015 Recovery Resiliency Award goes to Derek Wheeler. Derek, thank you. All right. Derek is an incredible advocate, mentor, friend, and champion of hope in our community. Derek has been a certified peer specialist with the Mental Health Association's Trail Guides program since 2011. And during that time, he has established himself as an invaluable resource for the young people he serves through his positive attitude and conviction that no one is limited in the pursuit of their dreams. Derek has many strengths, but perhaps the 2 most notable are his ability to connect, engage, and foster relationships, as well as his unwavering belief in people and their ability to achieve their hopes and dreams. Derek is kind, warm, empathetic, and extremely skilled at utilizing his own story to inspire and support others. Derek listens without judgment and acts with purpose. Many who work with Derek know that when he asks someone about their dream and says, "We will work together to find out what it takes to reach that dream, and I will be with you every step of the way," he truly means it. Derek, thank you very much. This 2015 Recovery Resiliency Award goes to Sergeant Brian Rathke, Pottstown Police Department. And as a member of the Pottstown Police Department, Sergeant Rathke exemplifies the kind of leadership and willingness to go above and beyond what is required. That provides proof that as a community we can work together across systems and be a part of spreading kindness and hope. A prime example of Sergeant Rathke's warmth and dedication to his community can be seen in his involvement in the Your Way Home's most recent point-in-time count to gather data about homelessness in Montgomery County. Originally enlisted to help the Pottstown team identify places to survey, Sergeant Rathke fully exceeded all expectations by providing wonderful side-by-side guidance and insight through the entire process. When the team identified an individual without permanent shelter, Sergeant Rathke's compassion was immediately obvious. He was kind, warm, and demonstrated concern and first and foremost for this person's well-being with local... Sergeant Rathke provided ongoing assistance, leadership, and teamwork with local community supports. This individual now has an apartment for her and her dogs, and Sergeant Rathke's involvement was absolutely critical in that process. The story doesn't end there. Sergeant Rathke continues to work to bring hope and support to even more people. Sergeant Rathke is truly a guardian of his community, and in that role, he is a promoter of the principles of recovery and resiliency. If we could give a hand to the Sergeant. And thank you for cooperating with the wait for the applause thing. Much appreciated. This 2015 Recovery and Resiliency Award goes to Jessica Fenchel, Adult Mobile Crisis. Jess is the director of the Adult Mobile Crisis team at Access Services. She's a strong leader, communicator, and coach who utilizes, demonstrates, and teaches her team about the principles of recovery and resiliency. It's not always easy to balance crisis work with warmth and hope, but by serving people respectfully and emphasizing collaboration, Jess is able to do just that. Jess has made an invaluable contribution to spreading the message of hope and recovery through her tireless work, forming partnerships with service agencies and hospitals, working collaboratively with the local police departments, working across systems, and being a presence in our community. Jess sees barriers and addresses ways to overcome those barriers by building bridges, bringing people together, and setting a clear path forward, all while communicating respect, hope, and the absolute importance of human dignity. If we could give Jess a round of applause. This 2015 Recovery Resiliency Award goes to Stephanie Bromwell in Central. Stephanie is warm, non-judgmental, kind, smart, inclusive, considerate, full of hope and light, and tremendously dedicated to those she serves. Stephanie has a natural ability to bring out the best in others through her gentle, caring, and supportive approach. She values the importance of individual relationships while remaining receptive and thoughtful around social justice issues. Stephanie's work as a recovery coach is guided first and foremost by her respect for people. The individuals Stephanie works with receive her warmth and respect, and this has been a tremendous asset in her ability to engage, foster relationships, and ultimately support people in living lives that are satisfying and meaningful. Another aspect of Stephanie's incredible work is her dedication to her teammates and her ability to inspire and offer support as they engage in their very important work. Stephanie truly practices her work in a way that utilizes the principles of recovery and resiliency. If we could give Stephanie a round of applause. So, and this one should be interesting. The 2015 Recovery and Resiliency Award goes to the Hope Market Community Trading Post. So if all the people from HopeWorks that come up are affiliated. And here we go. The Hope Market Community Trading Post grew out of activities that staff of the Consumer Satisfaction Team were doing to support each other and people in the community. These activities included organizing social events, trading favors like apartment cleaning, and helping people move. Eventually, the group started talking about how to promote these supports among people who did not have enough financial resources to pay for the services. After eliciting ideas from community members and local leaders, a steering committee was formed and a successful round of practice bartering began. Although there have been some obstacles, including the need to physically move their location, the benefits, strengths, and determination of its members have allowed the Hope Market to adapt, grow, and continue to be successful. Drawing strongly from the ideas of mutual support, teamwork, and communities that work together, the Hope Markets truly exemplifies the incredible things that can happen when individuals work together to identify a need and a solution. In addition, the Hope Market is fun, self-sustaining, and truly a genuine product of our community. If we could give them a round of applause for that. Okay, this 2015 Recovery and Resiliency Award goes to Robert Bob Maddox. Bob is a supportive son, volunteer, and college student who has worked incredibly hard to craft a life for himself that is meaningful, optimistic, and full of positive challenges and accomplishments. Bob exemplifies the principles of recovery and resiliency through his willingness to seek out opportunities for growth and development, and then by putting in hard work to be successful in those opportunities. Bob has not stopped at challenging himself, but instead takes the things he has learned about success and achievement and uses them to support and inspire his classmates and meet those needs. Bob is particularly skilled at utilizing resources available to him and then sharing that skill with others in a sensitive and helpful way. Bob is in the process of taking his 5th college-level Spanish class, and to that and to all the people he has accomplished, to all that he has accomplished, we say felicidades. Sorry. I did not take a Spanish course in college. So, all right. And this Recovery and Resiliency Award goes to a team over at Chalk. So it goes to Barbara Kaiser, Anna Perkins, Joyce Fowler-Dye, and Donna Windle. Barbara, Anna, Joyce, and Donna make up the case management team at the Coordinated Homeless Outreach Center, also known as Chalk. Barbara has been at the Chalk since its opening 10 years ago. She is an advocate who encourages recovery in everyone she works with, and her attention to detail plays a key role in helping individuals find and maintain housing. Joyce assists those she serves through a multifaceted approach that includes attentive listening and encouragement. Joyce encourages and supports individuals to find and use their voice to live the lives they want. Anna is the newest member of the team and strives to utilize her knowledge and her skill in recognizing trauma to encourage those she serves to seek, expect, and realize the safety and security that we all desire and deserve. Donna is an incredible behind-the-scenes advocate whose attention to detail, consistency, and tireless efforts are the foundation of operations at the Chalk. Each of these individuals demonstrates the principle of recovery, and together as a team, they deliver on those principles every day through their practice. This team comes in determined to do their important work with hope, skill, knowledge of resources for assistance and kindness. If we could give them a round of applause, please. And last but certainly not least, this 2015 Recovery and Resiliency Award goes to Emily Swan, PA Partners Deaf Services. Emily Swan has worked for Salisbury Behavioral Health for 15 years and currently serves as the Operations Director for the day program at PA Partners Deaf Services. Emily began in the hearing program, serving first as a therapist, then as a program director. As the deaf program grew, Emily demonstrated a desire to meet people where they are and understood the importance of communication, so she began to learn sign language. Emily's compassion for individuals matched with her open mind and careful attention to detail make her an extremely valuable member of the PA Partners team. She is deeply committed to both the individuals she serves as well as her team, and is able to remain positive and hopeful even when faced with challenges. Emily demonstrates the principles of recovery and resiliency through her ability to be perceptive, respectful, and mindful of others, and her strength as an advocate for helping others have their voices heard. So, if we could give a round of applause. And I thank you for the opportunity to recognize our award winners, and I'll turn it back over to Pam.
Thank you, Tim. Nice job. Well, this is a very special part of our reception each year, and it's just really nice to be able to both honor the memory of someone and then the hard work and dedication of someone. And what I would like to do about the Robert H. Miller Award is just read you a little bit about Dr. Miller and the award. The Robert H. Miller Award was established in 1992 by the Mental Health Committee to recognize individuals who have contributed to serving persons with serious and persistent mental illness in Montgomery County. Dr. Miller was a graduate of Hahnemann Medical College and served in the United States Navy as a medical officer. He completed his residency at Norristown State Hospital and joined the staff at Central Montgomery Mental Health Mental Retardation Center in 1976. He was medical director there from 1978 until his death in 1992. The best way to understand the essence of this award is to let notes from his colleagues speak about him. They describe him as the heart and soul of Central for over 20 years. He was always a sensitive and caring psychiatrist, a perceptive and clear-thinking administrator, and a gifted teacher. It is not an exaggeration to say that he cared for and was beloved by thousands of people that he served throughout the county. By his example, he taught staff to keep in mind the vulnerability of people that we serve and the underlying hurts that people feel, making him an innovator in what we now understand as trauma-informed care. He was an unassuming and talented leader. His legacy of kindness and commitment was a gift to Montgomery County. It is in the spirit of this gift that this award was established. And I'm very pleased to welcome Judy Miller-Bucker, who is so wonderful to come here each year and be with us, and who will present the 2015 Dr. Miller Award.
I am honored and proud to be part of the 24th presentation of the To Be Revealed Award. The Robert H. Miller Award is a very special and meaningful honor in Montgomery County and is meant to recognize an individual who has made a long-term commitment to the field and whose involvement, service, and contributions to the improvement of the quality of life of persons with mental illness is noteworthy and exceptional. This award is intended to recognize unique dedication, caring, and commitment. This year's award winner truly exemplifies what it means to be dedicated, caring, and committed to a cause. Her cause is one of advocacy and system changes, while maintaining warmth and kindness in individual interactions. She demonstrates genuine interest in the people she meets and communicates in a deeply held belief that all people can recover from mental illness and lead full and happy lives. This year's award winner has over 2 decades of service to the people of southeastern Pennsylvania. During that time, she has worked tirelessly to adapt, strengthen, and improve the way mental health services are delivered. Her persistence and dedication have allowed her to make connections and inroads to other service systems that have been critical in working towards the seamless community of support for people impacted by mental illness. Our 2015 Dr. Miller Award recipient truly believes in recovery and of all the values therein. Her respect and hope for the people she serves is evident in the way she listens, communicates, and advocates. Our winner has had a previous career as a top-notch reporter for a local newspaper, but after mental illness impacted her own family, she actively sought out and obtained an advocacy position through NAMI at the Norristown State Hospital, specifically to learn more about the mental health system and find out how she herself can be helpful. And helpful she has been. Her advocacy career has been one of the indeterminable value to the Montgomery County community. Her advocacy work could have ended with her own personal actions, and her legacy would have still been quite admirable. But she did not stop there. Instead, she took what she had learned and began the noble work of helping others to find their own voices and have their own ideas for change heard. Her emphasis on training, motivating, and teaching the skill of self-advocacy has resulted in a growing community of people around her who are speaking up, getting involved, and being true agents of change. Those who knew her and know her speak of her not only as a visionary, but as someone who can truly start, follow through with, and be part of change, presenting self-advocacy training throughout Montgomery and adjacent counties, and working consistently with lawmakers are just two parts of her overall strategy to affect change, always with the goal of creating a community where all people can live satisfying and meaningful lives. There are many challenges faced by individuals who find themselves involved with both the legal and mental health systems. Rather than shy away from this work because of its complexity, this year's winner has made it her passion and her specialty. She helped to create and implement a support group inside the local jail for individuals suffering from mental illness and co-occurring illnesses. This year's winner demonstrates empathy and encouragement for those currently incarcerated, and the program she helped bring to life is now in its 13th session, spanning more than 4 years. This year's winner wears several hats, each of which keeps her actively involved in the mental health community and working towards fairness, hope, and recovery for all people. In addition to her official role as the Director of Community Advocates, she also chairs the advocacy subcommittees for both the local and regional community support programs. It is with great pride that this year, for the 2015 Dr. Miller Award, we honor dedication, perseverance, and advocacy. This year's recipient is not with us today, but with the modern technology in our 21st century, Kathy Mitchell will be here. I am pleased and honored to present her.
It's just so fun to surprise people. So it was really, we kind of snuck into the back of the room, and Maureen Feeney Burns was reading the nomination during the meeting, and we sort of pulled a quick one on Kathy. So it was really fun, and many, many congratulations to her, even though she's not here. It's very well deserved. And I'm glad that we got to continue to pull off the surprise, because that's really, it's kind of fun. And now, for the 2015 Nancy Weeman Award for Innovation. Last year, when the Nancy Weeman Award for Innovation was created, a great deal of thought and discussion went into what it really meant to give an award for innovation. It was decided that the creativity, trailblazing, and community-altering work that would be honored as innovating by its unique nature may not be something that would or should be given out every year. We are very honored to live in a community where great work, no, incredible work, is happening every single day, and achievements are honored here through the annual established awards. But an award for innovation has to be different. It has to be something new, daring, maybe even a little unconventional, and that's okay if it doesn't happen every year. That said, it is with great joy and satisfaction that, based upon the recommendation of the Dr. Miller Award Selection Committee, that we get to present an award for innovation for a second consecutive year to someone whose work is absolutely trailblazing and leaves no doubt that it is indeed innovating. Berta Britz has been exemplary as a courageous, thoughtful, compassionate peer leader who embraces mutuality and empowerment in everything she does. She has not only contributed to the growth of respectful recovery environments, but she has also shaped, impacted, and cultivated them. Berta began her professional career in mental health in the early 1990s, and even then, without having the benefit of what we know today about recovery, she began to blaze a path toward exactly that. She not only lived her life in a way that exemplified meaning and dignity, but she became an activist for others to be able to do the same. Her life experiences, coupled with her thoughtful, collaborative approach and keen intellect, earmarked her for leadership. Berta's most outstanding and innovative leadership role has been the development of an initiative to meet the needs of people who, like her, hear voices. This initiative began as Berta's ongoing effort to enhance her own quality of life. She learned about the Hearing Voices movement on the internet and made connections with international leaders. She purchased books and workbooks and began to use the strategies suggested, aimed at living a life fully with her voices. In her characteristic style, Berta did not stop at learning for herself, but instead began to explore ways to share what she had learned with others. She advocated for and developed Hearing Voices groups in Montgomery County. She helped initiate mental health system training and in this approach to even further spread knowledge and strategies. Berta utilized her connections to facilitate the Montgomery County Training Institute's relationship with leaders from the United Kingdom. As a result of this connection, NAMI became aware of the movement and has endorsed this approach with training on both local and national level. Berta continues to develop relationships with like-minded people in the United States and internationally, and presented at the Third World Hearing Voices Conference in Cardiff, Wales. Berta has shared her story throughout the tri-state area through a variety of media and is currently building a Montgomery County network of voice hearers, family members, and professionals to advance the movement. Berta Britz is providing leadership in an arena that has often left people isolated and alone in their experiences. She provides mentoring and fellowship to those who have been discriminated against, stigmatized, and have often been denied lives like everyone else. The definition of an innovator is a person who introduces new methods, ideas, or products. Berta Britz not only introduced the incredible Hearing Voices movement to Montgomery County, but also a style of warmth, compassion, creativity, and forward movement that is uniquely her own. It is Berta's unwillingness to be content with limits on her own quality of life, as well as her absolute dedication to sharing the fullness of life that she has found with others, that have earned her the Nancy Weeman Award for Innovation. And who better to bestow her with that award is its namesake, Nancy Weeman. So could you both come up, please? You guys, Greg, you should get that picture. They were like holding hands. It's over here, ladies. We forgot the glue. You give it to Berta.
Okay, well, let me just say, first off, it's so nice to see everybody and to be here. And that what Berta's work changed me in very profound ways as I learned about it through her over the years. So I can't think of a better person to give this award to.
When they told me that I won this, I was stunned because means so much to me. And I said, I need to say something because, I always have to say something. My career goes back further than what was read. I'm a lot older than that, and I just recently called myself a dinosaur. And I didn't like that because it didn't have the longevity that I now know I'm just part of a huge, beautiful reef. And that really suits me so perfectly because the Hearing Voices Network is an approach that is a partnership. It's not just about the people who hear voices. It's not just about family members or service providers. It's about community. And I really think as we look at building onto the reef and recognizing which walls are necessary, which walls are permeable, which walls are totally ready to be taken down, one of the things that we need to do is unite. And that people who use services, that we need to say what those services are in order to help us truly live in the community. Inclusion means that we belong here. We belong everywhere. And so does everyone else, and that we all need each other. So thank you for the reef metaphor, because it's so much more life-giving than dinosaur.
Okay, and in closing, I can't find our closer in the audience. Oh, here you are. All right, I would like to introduce to you, and I would like everyone actually to give a really huge round of applause for Penny Lafferty, who has been our acting administrator this year. I mean, these past 6 months, I don't know how long, it feels very long. But who really has been doing an absolutely fabulous job in our office. And so I'd very much like to introduce her and thank her for all of her support for this past several months.
Thank you, Pam. Congratulations to all the award winners for their strength, hope, and enduring belief in recovery and resiliency. This year's winners represent a diverse cross-section of our county and the people and groups who work so incredibly hard every day. Because of their work, the examples they set, and the hope they inspire, Montgomery County is a better place. So to that we say thank you and congratulations. Just a few thank yous and then we'll be done. We would like to thank John Doyle and the Norristown High School student for donating their time to record this event. Thank you. Congratulations to Eric Ayers for winning this year's CPS art contest. His artwork was made into wonderful magnets by HopeWorks. They're out front. Please make sure you pick up one on your way out. Thank you to Commissioner Shapiro and Arkush for coming in and sharing their inspirational words. I know Commissioner Castor also wanted to be here, but his wife was in the hospital today. Thank you to Dr. Matthew Herford for his wonderful keynote address. And thank you to all the attendees for coming out today to celebrate hope, recovery, and resiliency. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the staff from the Mental Health Office. They put a lot of time into this reception organization, so now that this is officially over, you can begin planning the 39th. Thank you.
Little girl